Hello everybody, Tegan here with High Point. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Today we are very excited to bring to you a full and detailed review on the Askar FRA500, a no-fuss quintuplet refractor designed with the astrophotographer in mind. Now, when it comes to wide-field astrographs, Askar has certainly made a name for themselves, and this scope proves this to be true simply through its sheer performance. So in this video, we're going to talk about what makes the Askar FRA500 stand out, and then we're going to test it under the night sky and see how it performs on the Seda region. So with that in mind, like, subscribe, and stay tuned. So as I mentioned, the FRA500 is a quintuplet refractor, meaning it has 5 glass elements, 2 of which are ED glass elements, or extra low dispersion. This means that you're going to have extremely sharp images that are very well color corrected. It has a 55mm corrected imaging circle right out of the box, no additional flatteners or reducers required. The FRA500 has an aperture of 90mm, a native focal length of 500mm, and a focal ratio of f5.6. So the optional 0.7 focal reducer that we'll be utilizing in this video brings the focal length down to a mere 350mm and the focal ratio down to a fast f3.9. And this focal reducer is corrected for full frame cameras with a 44mm corrected imaging circle. And lastly, this scope comes in at a mere 10.3 pounds, making it a fantastic option for anyone looking for a portable astrophotography imaging system when it can be used on some of the lightest and smallest equatorial mounts on the market. One of the advantages of having a quintuplet astrograph like this one means that it is a no-fuss design where back focus or a specific spacing is not required at the native focal length. As long as you can achieve focus, you'll have a flat field across the entire 55mm corrected imaging circle. Alright, so now that we've talked about scope specifications and design, now it's time to dive into the features and show you what the scope is really all about. First, the focuser, a dual speed 10:1 ratio, 3.5-inch rack and pinion design with a built-in rotator with tension and locking thumb screws. Secondly, the scope comes fitted with beautiful CNC machine retro red anodized rings, a D-style dovetail, an ergonomic handlebar for simple transport and mounting additional accessories, as well as a finder shoe adapter for even more equipment. The dew shield is adjustable and comes fitted with a matching anodized red dust cap for protecting your optics. In creating such a versatile scope, Askar has equipped the FRA500 with a comprehensive set of threaded adapters. This includes an M48, an M52, an M54, and M68, ensuring broad compatibility with a wide variety of camera systems and imaging configurations right out of the box. Now, if you do plan on using the optional 0.7 reducer, the Askar FRA500 does come with the required adapter to attach it. Since we are in fact using the 0.7 reducer in this video and we highly recommend this as an optional accessory, let's show you how to attach it. Start by unthreading the large rear adapter from the back of the scope. In its place, thread on the reducer adapter that comes included with the FRA500. Next, unthread the front flange of the reducer to access the internal threads. This is where you can insert your 2-inch filter. Once your filter is in place, reattach the adapter to the reducer, and then thread the entire reducer assembly back into the telescope. This reducer does require the standard 55mm of spacer, so be sure to use the correct adapters and spacers for your specific imaging train. Sometimes we get our hands on a scope that really exceeds all of our expectations, and this scope has been one of them. From the 55mm corrected imaging circle to the incredible light gathering capabilities paired with the 0.7 reducer, this scope has been impressive to use. When we put this scope to the test, we used some of the most modern astrophotography equipment and accessories on the market to streamline our setup and maximize our time out under the night sky, seeing that we get so few clear nights this time of year. In addition to the scope and the 0.7 reducer, we use the ZWO EAF Pro with Bluetooth capabilities and an internal battery. We also use the ZWO camera angle adjuster for precise framing of our target over multiple nights. We use the ASI 2600 MC air-cooled camera for complete system automation. This all sat on top of the ZWO AM5. All assembled, this was a very simple yet advanced astrophotography setup utilizing all the modern accessories and equipment that you can find on the market today. So now let's talk about the target we chose for the test runs and the data that we collected. Late July and August is what us astrophotographers or astronomers refer to as Milky Way season. So what better object to test the FRA500 on than the Butterfly Nebula in the constellation of Cygnus, right near the bright star Satyr. Now this would be a beautiful target to image filterless under dark skies, but alas, we are in Bortle 7 skies, so we chose to use the Askar E-Series Color Magic HA03 and 03S2 dual band filters. Now these filters allowed us to image through all the light pollution, as well as helped us maximize the amount of O3 emission data that we captured, as well as that elusive S2 data that really defines an SHO style image. So without further ado, let's take a look at the data. So over the last couple of nights, I was able to collect a decent amount of data on the Butterfly Nebula, 13 hours to be precise, and within those 13 hours, I was able to capture some of the most impressive data through a refractor that I have ever collected, and that's thanks to the incredible optics of the FRA500, the very well corrected 0.7 reducer, and the 4 nanometer color magic filters from Askar. Over the course of both nights, I shot sub-exposures that were 15 minutes long to take advantage of the clear skies and the great optics, and the results were absolutely incredible. Let's dive into PixInsight and take a look. First, let's take a look at the image of the Satyr region taken with the 0.7 reducer in the 2600 MC. Across this 5-minute exposure, you can see that the corners of this frame are very well corrected with hardly any noticeable eccentricity. This is very impressive to see at a focal ratio of f3.9. Now, we weren't able to test the reducer with a full frame camera, but after seeing the results with an APS-C size sensor, we're fairly certain that it would correct quite well for full frame cameras. Now let's take a look at the same star field through the native focal length, no correctors and no reducers. If there could have been any improved results over the 0.7 reducer, you are seeing them here. These stars are perfectly corrected around the edges of an APS-C size field of view. The 55mm corrected imaging circle would likely allow full frame cameras to look just as pristine. Now that we've seen how well the FRA500 has performed for us, let's take a look at the final image, the Butterfly Nebula and the constellation Cygnus. Alright, so that is our full review on the Askar FRA500. Whether you're looking to upgrade from your current refractor, or maybe you're making the switch from a camera lens, a 90mm refractor is one that all astrophotographers should have in their collection, and this is a fantastic option. The performance of this scope simply exceeded our expectations. So if you have any questions, please let us know in the comments below. We'll be more than happy to assist. Take a look at the link in the description. It'll take you directly to the FRA500 webpage on the High Point Scientific website. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Tegan with High Point. Clear skies.